game until he finds his exit.
I would be happy about getting to the league instead of me thinking about playing with my dad. But that's like not my mindset right now at all. I'm just trying to put in the work and see where it takes me from there. I just want to, have people know my name is Bronny James and not being, identified as just LeBron James' son. I feel like that would be a great angle.
It's got to be tough being LeBron James' son and playing basketball, I would imagine. Of course, all eyes on Bronny James as he gets ready to take the court in just a little bit. As he does so, Corey, what are you looking at in his game today?
I want to see him play freer. I want to not see him be careful on the floor, just go out, play as though he has nothing to lose, and show that he belongs. I believe that's the point of Bronny being here. I think that's what everything is about him, is trying to find, and like he said, allow people to recognize Bronny James, not LeBron James' son. Allow him to stand on his own. And I believe he has a level of aggressiveness to him that we did not see yesterday, and I would love to see him show that here this afternoon.
Sean?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got to cut down his turnovers. He got beat on a couple back doors yesterday. We talk about him and the players that he comps himself to. Davion Mitchell, an elite level defensive player, without question, that's his strength. You look at Drew Holiday, he impacted the game at the defensive end. Those are two of the players he mentioned yesterday. How disruptive can you be at the defensive end of the floor? How dialed in every single possession, on ball, off ball, at that end of the floor? Because if that's going to be your calling card, and that's what you want your calling card to be, then sign up and make it happen.
Well, we saw it in game one, right? We've talked about A.J. Mitchell a lot here. It's almost like he has to kind of be that type of defender here where maybe you're picking up 3/4 of the court, you're being a pest. I'm not really looking at the stat line for him. I don't care if he's 2 for 8. Certainly I think being comfortable, finding a role, how he fits in. He's a terrific young man. Locker room, you're not concerned about here. But I agree, I think he's going to play more freer. I think we saw that a little bit in the first game with some of these players here, and I am expecting a better performance than Tuesday.
All right, this game's about to tip in just a little bit. We have Team Jason Love of the Philadelphia 76ers. A reminder that current NBA assistant coaches are coaching these teams up today. When you look at this roster, Sean, who are you looking at?
Well, obviously, Jamal Shead had a great game yesterday. Look for him to continue to be a leader at that point guard position. I'm going to go with Enrique Freeman, though, because we talked about him off the top. Bobby mentioned it as one of the bright spots in the Stars. He made a huge impact on the scouts in attendance yesterday. Can he replicate, rinse, and repeat and deliver that once again?
Yeah, 17 points yesterday. He was a big bucket. On the other side, we have Team Patrick St. Andrews of the Memphis Grizzlies. When you look at this roster, Corey, who are you looking at?
I'm looking at Jesse Edwards because there's always a role for a big man that can screen, roll to the rim, and more importantly, be a rim protector. Jesse Edwards was able to do that in college. It's going to be interesting to see if he can do that at the next level. But it could, and many will look at it. He's actually an international player, and so he does.
He's 3-2. Bronny James entering into the game right behind us as we speak. It's a 1-point game, and of course his dad is in the building. He was eating blueberries earlier, reluctantly, pushing stuff around. It looked like he didn't like whatever he was eating.
I mean, you come into a scenario like this, do you really want to eat blueberries? Personally, I'm going for pizza.
If you're hungry.
Yeah, he showed up courtside at Cleveland. Everybody thought he was going to Cleveland. Now he's here in Chicago.
Illegal defense and how you have to space the floor, etc.
Definitely, I feel like I have an advantage. We played NBA rules. We played with the NBA ball. We shot the NBA three.
One of the things I ask you guys always at the McDonald's All-American game, you'll probably remember this, is after you've made all this money playing basketball and you've had a great career, what are you going to do next? Now, I believe the first time,
6 weeks or so are going to be able to separate themselves through the individual workouts and maybe get to that point where they climb up the ladder.
One of the things you're going to see with Modest is his skill level, especially at 6'10". When he walks into a building and has an individual workout, his skill level is extremely high for a guy like that. And Christine,
do you feel like he needs to put a little bit more?
There's a 10-foot pool right off of his French doors to open up our bedroom. And now, mind you, this is not in a multi-million-dollar home neighborhood. Mm-hmm. This is a starter home.
Yeah.
But Bill, I mean, that's how much he was into swimming. And again, of course, it helps you in every area physically.
Very good, yeah, conditioning for sure.
Bronny's going to be at the free throw line here with 0.2 seconds left to go as they attacked in transition, filling the lane. That's one of the things he did really well, actually, at USC. The ability to run the floor, fill the lanes, and try to get ahead of the ball. And he, with time ticking away on the clock, was able to do that and get the trip to the free throw line.
I don't think athleticism will ever be a question with Bronny. It's just the fact that he doesn't have the size to go along with that athleticism. And when you consider the fact that 6'1½", and again, 6'1½" barefoot, by the time you get on the court, he's 6'3". And so, I mean, that's how we have to look at it. But athleticism will never be a question mark when you're regarding Bronny. But does Cody have that mentality? I believe that's going to be the conversation of that underdog and the guy with a chip on his shoulder that he's trying to prove. You sat down with Cody.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I would say real quick, the one thing that teams will learn about
with the North American team playing against the world, and this was the kind of performance then as a high school senior, that made people believe he had a real NBA future at some point in his career.
Best. I keep a measurement database that goes back about 30 years. We have 7,500 players in there. That database told me that his closest comparison is actually Gary Harris from the Orlando Magic. Longer.
Gavone's lost his mind on that comp. He can take his metrics. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Gavone. I'm kidding. I had to take the shot. Hey, but what he said is exactly right. Look at the way he's playing on the floor. Look at his movement on the floor versus what we saw yesterday. The aggressiveness, the confidence, the in control, and understanding how to operate and be successful. Done a great job of it today in the first half.
Well, the one thing too, we saw it yesterday. He had two of his baskets. His only two baskets were on a nice little floater in the lane, and we saw that at the end of the half second quarter here. He missed a floater there, but if he's going to get in the paint over bigger defenders, that's something that he's going to have to be comfortable with. And I like a little bit of a difference of, certainly spotting up, hitting the three, and then we can kind of see that floater there.
Let's also add this. The biggest adjustment today for Bronny is he's not the primary ball handler.
Yep.
He's playing off the ball. That is the role that's much more suitable for him. Like we talked about, many of the guys who are his comps, they are not guys that play with the basketball in their hands and have to be playmakers. They're the guys who are recipients of playing along.
I think you look at teams where his range is right now, certainly probably in that 3 to 5 range. So you're looking at certainly Houston, you're looking at San Antonio, you're looking at Charlotte at 6, as far as where Portland at 7.
Him actually playing. And Bill Self told us plain and simple, he would not play. But you see how competitive he was here at the Combine and how that's carried over to why he's now in the rotation. Just go back to Bobby's point. They lost Bruce Brown in free agency. Christian Brown steps right into that role and fills in perfectly for a team that now has a chance to be able to get back to the Western Conference Finals and possibly win another championship in the finals. So, but Christian Brown, after a year of development where he did play and was a large part of what they did last year, has a much bigger role this season. But it's their competitive nature of a guy that will come out here and play and not risk their draft status on the fact that there will be so many unknowns.
I think the hardest part with some of these championship level teams, certainly like, whether it be Denver or maybe Minnesota, or, certainly Oklahoma City.
And he's talked about, he and Christian Brown actually had to have a sit down earlier this year about what his role was, because Christian Brown, you make that jump and you feel like you should be more involved in the offense and you've got to show more of who you want to be as an NBA player. And Michael Malone told him straight up, hey, this is how you're going to help us. You play this role and you'll find yourself in a rotation. If you don't, you may not be in that rotation. And he bought into that.
Jamal Shed just had a great awareness of time.
It does get to be expensive.
I thought A.J. Johnson, by the way, played pretty well yesterday. As Bronny lines up a three-pointer in the corner again. Feet set, corner threes. It's where he's
do the job defensively as well as distribute the basketball and make open jump shots. That's always going to be important to the eyes of the execs. Right now, a big man that is vocal on that back line, but as you mentioned before, playing for Mick Cronin, he had that responsibility at UCLA, so it's nothing foreign for him to be able to do it here at the Combine.
That was a good job, again, even on that on-ball
To
screen.
be vocal and be able to call out defensive coverages.
Oh.
On that possession, actually jumped, which he should not do, but still able to be able to drop off that bounce pass under the defender. Look at, got a USC and UCLA guy hooking up on the pick and roll.
And like giving each other love, too.
Coming off the screen and roll action. Bronny getting into the plug.
All right, Team St. Andrews wins that one at 90-83. Few players with 13 points, but only one on Team St. Andrews. That is the one and only Bronny James. So we've obviously, I mean, we talked about it ad nauseum at this point, but Bronny, obviously a lot better than he was yesterday, right?
Yeah, he was more comfortable today, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he didn't have to be the primary ball handler. He was off the basketball and was a recipient of plays in comparison to having to be the guy that made all the plays.
I like the energy level for a lot of the guys out there today. I mean, I just thought the energy level, the focus, they showed like a spirit of love for the game, and I think that's as important. You know, Bobby, you talk about all the time the intangibles too. Like, how much love do you show by how your effort is, how you work with your teammates, how quickly do you run over to pick them up off the floor? All those little things get evaluated while you're here.
All right, we now welcome in the player of the game, Bronny James, as we show his dad here too in attendance. Bronny, it was very clear from all of us here watching you today versus yesterday that you seemed a little bit more comfortable out there. What was the difference between what you did yesterday and today?
You know, I always, try to play the right way, but my teammates and my coaches just encouraged me to be aggressive because they believe in me. I feel like that's a big part of why I come out and, play the right way for my team and my teammates. So, yeah, they really helped me today.
In your media availability yesterday, you mentioned the comps to Drew Holiday, Davion Mitchell, defensive-minded players. How do you see yourself continuing to be able to impact, regardless of level, that end of the floor in particular?
Yeah, I always try to come out and play with my most effort. Of course, I try to play the right way, but I play hard, and I'm gonna always play hard. And I feel like that, that shows up on the defensive end. But yeah, I just try to, focus on that, and that's what gives me minutes in the long run.
Bronny, today you played a little more off the ball than you did yesterday. You had the ball more in your hands. So you were a little more comfortable at this stage, especially against a professional environment with playing off the basketball and being the recipient of a lot of great passes in comparison to having to be the playmaker?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, see myself, having the ball every possession. And the coach doesn't see me having the ball every possession. So I'm comfortable playing, the 1 and the 2, whether I'm playing on ball or off ball. So, they put me in good position today to produce and, be great.
All right, 13 points out there for Bronny James today. Good game, Bronny.
Appreciate
Congratulations
it.
on winning, and
Thank you.
congratulations on going through the draft process.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, with that, we will head to a break as we wrap things up on day 2.